Welcome to Brain Vision.
So here, the maximum torque would be applied tangential to the circle, and the force would be all of her weight. So the maximum torque would be applied tangential to the circle in which the pedal moves, and applying all her weight. So the formula for torque would be equal to the distance perpendicular to the axis of rotation multiplied by the force. So this would simply be equal to mgr, and this would be equal to, rather, her entire weight, 62 kilograms, multiplied by 9.80 meters per second squared, the acceleration due to gravity on Earth, multiplied by the radius of 0.17 meters. And we find that the maximum torque, again for part A, would be equal to approximately 1.0 times 10 to the second Newton meters. So this would be your answer for part A. Now for part B, however, how would she exert more than this torque? Well, she could exert more torque by pushing down harder with her legs. So she could, instead of just applying her entire weight, she could actually add more force by pushing her legs. So she could say, to increase torque max, we can say she could push down harder with her legs. If she were to do this, she would be raising her center of mass. And another possible way to increase torque max, she could also she could also pull upwards on the handlebars. So she could pull upwards So by pulling upwards on the handlebars, essentially she's increasing the, in this case, she would increase the force normal between the pedals and her feet by pulling back on the handlebars. So she would, by pulling back on the handlebars, she could increase the downward force on her legs, and then, of course, due to Newton's third law of motion, this would increase the amount of force that if she pulled upwards on her handlebars, she would be increasing force normal of the pedals on her feet. However, if she does that, due to Newton's third law of motion, she would be increasing the downward force on her legs on the pedals. So she could those are the two options. She could push down harder with her legs, or she could pull upwards on the handlebars. You can't really increase the radius because you can't. It's obviously the radius would be set, and her weight is set. So you really just need to either change her center of mass, or again increase the force normal of the pedals on her feet. That is the end of the solution. Thank you for watching.